that sometimes in the present, we have to conserve our energy, like law of assumption, Neville Goddard kind of stuff, like really conserve our energy to just focus on feeling good day to day, to protect our physiology, to protect our ability to feel emotionally invested and hopeful for our future plans, and just enjoying the day to day, playing, experimenting, enjoying. So we have to kind of conserve our energy, and then at the same time, the energy we use, or the energy that we're conserving, instead of just like being so upset when people do things, just like defending and maybe causing more chaos, we can instead, I can't think of the word right now, but like translocate, what is it? Whatever. We can allocate, is that the word I'm looking for? We can reallocate that energy that normally would just be like going at whatever is uncontrollable and annoying in our atmosphere. Instead, we can be like, oh, I'm gonna keep my extra energy. I'm gonna put it into something that is gonna actually benefit me to have stronger physiology, stronger endurance, less physical anxiety, because anxiety can come from just feeling not only insecure in our thoughts, but insecure in our health. Hey, so this past week was my first day back at Amazon delivering packages. And if you are thinking about any big changes to your life, to your schedule, to your lifestyle, in hopes of a better future, the type of mindset I'm in right now, because of where I'm at in my own life, is very much so to follow that. If you have an inkling that you can make, you can approach your problems by adapting to environments in a healthy way, adapting healthily to environments that allow you to earn money, allow you to really go towards your personal goals, and build your character along the way, then I say do that. There's the most, of course, there's so much discourse on the internet about improving ourselves, modifying our behaviors, changing our environments and circumstances in order to maintain control and feel safe in our bodies, feel safe in our minds. So many different perspectives on how to do this, and so many people, earning money, telling people their perspectives for how to do this. So many people trying to earn money, myself included, through sharing life experiences to people. But, listening to ourselves, listening to that feedback in our body, and knowing, I don't know how to put it in words yet, but I've definitely felt this change. Like I'm very much so learning what that feels like internally, to feel safe and connected to myself, in understanding that I can adapt myself to conform to situations outside of me that are imperfect, as everything in this world is. It's imperfect, but it is still perfect, because it is what's available, and it is what is allowing me, giving me any kind of leverage, any kind of like something to sink my claws into to keep on climbing towards my destination. Like it's giving the raw material to continue to transform ourselves in a more rapid way, earning money and having more expectations upon us is a really good way to transform ourselves so that we are actually more capable and we can withstand more stress. We have a higher tolerance. And it's very, very necessary to make sure that we increase our tolerance for things and increase our capacity for stress while still being true to ourselves. Because a part of increasing our capacity for stress is understanding how to respond authentically to ourselves, to our emotions, our feelings, our needs, our limitations, our strengths, and learning how to basically just make our energy go further, make our emotional and physical energy go a little bit further for ourselves. And, for me, this has been looking like putting my energy and emotional investment in the places that help me to feel good and fortified. And sometimes I need a reminder that, to not always look at the negative so much and to look really sink more into that gratitude for the blessings that I do have before me. Like, I'll give you an example. What did I say? I'll give you an example. A couple days ago, before I was going to work in the morning, I was feeling sick, anxious, couldn't eat. I wasn't feeling angry. I wasn't feeling angry at myself. I was still feeling proud of myself, that I am doing something for myself. Now I really understand and feel this conviction that being in this job is for myself, because I've experimented and figured out more about what is authentic for me at this time in my life. And I was just kind of feeling, sick in the morning and really anxious, lots of anxious thoughts. And I was starting to feel avoidant of work and being like, oh no, I have to go here every day for like a year or 2 years or whatever, 5 years, I don't know, whatever it is. I don't think I'll be doing this job for 5 years, but and then I had to be thinking, what I did is I took my tarot cards out, and the card I pulled was the Four of Cups, right? Four of Cups. I think that's what it is. It's the guy sitting underneath a tree, and he's just kind of staring off into space, looking kind of worried, or he has some kind of fixation. And then you have this gust of wind, and trying to hand him a cup, being like, here's an extra cup, something that you can use to capture more energy, like more beautiful things, more positive emotions, more experiences that will fortify your goals. And maybe you can't really tell in the image, but maybe the cup is full, maybe this gust of wind, which I take to mean just everything that we can perceive around us, everything that is communicated to us and that we interpret as a form of communication, something that just has meaning, something meaningful. It could have been, that cup could have been full. So the guy is actually being handed a full cup, that this beautiful gift that he can use to transmute himself, his connection to the environment. And in time, that will mean he's also transmuting his environment. He'll be changing himself, changing things around him, so things can continually adjust to go towards the direction that he envisions, and that fulfills his emotional connection and is connected to that intrinsic motivation, something that he can continually apply himself to and not feel disconnected, like he needs other people to manage him or convince him or whatever, something that feels really authentic and rewarding. So, he's being offered all these gifts. He's distracted. He's under this tree. He's just kind of staring off into space. And I was so grateful when I pulled that card, because I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of me, that I'm focusing so much on the worries, always looking for the things to be like, prepare myself for, the things to protect myself from, that I'm not able to feel the blessings that are being offered to me. I'm not able to recognize it and allow it to filter down into my emotions, and to really accept those gifts and let those gifts permeate me and change the way that I feel in day-to-day life. Something I'm realizing, something that I have kind of had this fixation with, or something during my lifetime, has been not accepting gifts around me, because I feel like if I accept the gifts around me, then I will be, distracted from the really negative things that harm me, and then I won't be able to see the things that harm me so much, and I won't be able to get away from it and like be free and safe. But the factor that I haven't brought into the picture my whole life until the past few months is that if you allow the gifts to sink into you, then you can use that to empower you more, to protect yourself from the negative things that are in the environment. Because no matter the environment, there's going to be positive and there's going to be negative things. So, it's not so much trying to harm other people through being like, okay, this person harmed me, so now it's just like gonna harm them. Not harm outright, but harm being like trying to hurt in a very like safe way, that it's like more self-protective. You're not gonna have somebody getting revenge on you. You're not really doing damage. You're just kind of like being like, no, fuck you. Like, you did this to me. I don't trust you. Fuck off. Like, that's been kind of more my approach in life, in the way of handling things when I'm hurt. But I've been able to realize, when I see that people are in any kind of environment, when people are hurting me, I can still accept and recognize the blessings and gifts. And sometimes, I don't like doing this big savior complex thing either that I used to do, where it's like you overly want to kind of see gifts and things and be like, thank you for this opportunity to let me heal you. I don't want to do that kind of thing either. That can be really distracting and not fair to our authenticity a lot of times, not fair to other people either, to give them, the actual imperfect feedback that will let them realize that what they're doing is unacceptable. Sometimes we can't learn, or we can't teach through love, but sometimes we just can't. It has to be more through understanding the reality that, no, that hurts, that's not good, that is painful. And I think it is up to us all to love ourselves really hard, so that we can tell for ourselves when we should listen to other people giving these signs that they're in pain, they're trying to hurt us. I have been having different thoughts on shame, the relationship to shame, and shame as a way to try to teach. I think it's much more important not to tell people not to shame in order to teach. I think shaming people is actually a really important, valuable way to teach. Or, saying things that allow people to know they have caused harm and that they are being cut off, rejected because of the way they caused harm. I think that's a really important natural consequence and feedback to let people understand the cause and effect. Sometimes that's what it takes in order to realize these things. But I think the counterbalance to that is that we all have to learn within us how to care for ourselves and love ourselves, so that if other people give us that kind of communication that normally would cause us shame, it's not going to cause us shame if we understand our own motivations, and we love ourselves. We're not being hyper judgmental. We are being honest about the way that we, well, not even honest, but I mean more like authentic. Like we're being authentic about the way that we see ourselves, and we're being really compassionate, and we can understand that if we, to get to that place where we can understand if we do feel shame or guilt, we're never going to feel shame in the sense of totally rejecting ourselves anymore, because we have established a different relationship with ourselves. That's a crucial component. But instead of shame, then we can start to feel guilt. I think that's the difference. That when you have that really crucial dynamic with yourself healed, then when people do things, you're not going to feel shame. You're going to feel guilt, because I think the guilt can be a healthy motivator, and help us to repair and also find balance, to understand maybe the other person also needs to adjust a little bit, but I think that allows for better discourse. And so I've just been having more thoughts on this topic, which is really important to me. Communication, and how to feel resilient in ourselves, how to understand as fully recovered people, we are resilient, and we don't need to be living in fear of other people's thoughts or feelings or their next actions, because we can have that confidence. So ultimately, we are the creator of our own inner world in the way that we perceive and filter and interpret things. So when we have that connection with ourselves, and the understanding that everything that we perceive is to a degree within the control of our perception, I think that's really important and beautiful, to maintain these feelings of safety and really extract the beauty and gifts that are present everywhere, no matter where your life is and what situation you're in. And this process for me of realizing or remembering these things is really important, because I remember years ago when I was homeless, when I was, backpacking, and I was just high on weed all the time. Some people are going to laugh, the phrase high on weed, but for me, like, I really see it as a drastic thing. Whereas I used to see weed as like a vitamin, and now I'm like, oh my God, like that changes your perception so much. It changes your ability to gauge your perception, to have kind of that external monitoring of how your perception is working. It's kind of, for me at least, with weed, it makes it very much so like you just believe whatever's in front of you without second guessing or having, it's harder to think outside the box, because you become more emotional and everything feels more imaginative and all encompassing. So you just kind of get sucked in more, when normally something would just be like a little fleeting random thought. Instead, that thought is so fleshed out, so emotional, you feel it so strongly in your body, your imagination is so connected to it that you start really, the thought doesn't become just a thought, it becomes like a whole story. And anyway, so for me, I was high on weed all the time when I was homeless, and during that time, it was really magical, honestly. The perspectives I had, that, I never did feel, maybe a little bit much so. I didn't feel guilt. I didn't feel shame. I felt very much these important things that I think it's healthy for everyone to have in them. I maybe had a little bit too much that didn't allow me to be balanced and healthy for myself long term. It didn't allow me to have healthy collaborations with people, which is why I say it was too much. But I wasn't really looking for that at the time anyways. So anyway, but yeah, these feelings of just knowing that you can't be blamed, or in the sense that you can't feel shame, or like this sense of deep disconnection and conviction that you're like evil or fucked up or disgusting or any of these things. You can't have that logically, because we are all exactly products of the world around us and the resources we have access to, and the, being able to hear things in a really accessible way, that in a way that is relatable to us. That is a real thing. That is a real thing to a degree, and not everybody will get to that point in their lifetime to where they experience so much suffering that they kind of have to turn to the other side and change their perspective, to where you start thinking that, you start being like, okay, well, these people are, well, just being like, well, what are the thoughts and the philosophies of the people who have what I want, which is stability and money and, more agency over their lives. Not everybody will get to that point, maybe, or maybe they will, just at different times of their life. But that, that kind of feeling of freedom, of that, well, if you can remember, or you have a point of reference for what you imagine it would be like to be a child, to feel like you just are inherently pure, and we all have that child aspect in us, because we all are we are shaped according to factors we don't have control over, shaped by our environments. So I think that component is really important. And also, when I was homeless, I realized the thing I'm remembering again now, that thing of when you are so in touch with yourself, and you have that love and compassion for yourself, and you are proving that you're working to be in partnership with yourself and going through challenges and finding different mindsets to feel like things can be safe and bearable within a crazy world. They can feel hopeless, and you just have faith that things will turn out okay. If you like Neville Goddard type stuff, like law of assumption, that I guess, I've only learned about that in the past, like, what, six months or so. But, I feel like that's the logical words, those kind of philosophies. It gives the logical words to get yourself to find your way back to these emotional feelings that we intuitively have when we are younger, and that I intuitively had. I mean, I didn't just have them when I was homeless, I don't know why that's the example that comes to mind. I guess because that's the last time that I can remember feeling these things. But I felt these things when I was young also, just more that conviction that your comfort matters, and that safety, feeling safe within yourself, is essential. Like, even if people are horrible around you, you can always feel connected to yourself and safe internally by your perspective, and knowing you can affirm that you can't be hurt by the people around you, that the people around you don't matter like that. You're not a bad person for saying that they don't matter. You're a good person for stopping yourself from having philosophies that'll cause you to feel pain, that'll cause you to not be able to take participation in teamwork, when the teamwork is in environments that are suboptimal, like for me in Amazon right now. And it's really hard to remember these things in the moment. I definitely had a time last week when I was just working at the station. I was at the station, and I was taking something to hand it to somebody. They had asked me to bring it to them. I was moving it, and someone else just came up without looking at me. They just snatched the thing from my hands and took it to the person. And at the time, like, I just immediately, like, turned around and kept on, like, went to the next task, I was acting as though it was pre-planned. I didn't really allow myself to feel emotions, which is, it's a survival mechanism. It's good in some ways. That tends to be my thing, that I tend to, once again, always look for, well, not always look for, but sometimes I do have that part in me of looking for how to make things go as peacefully as possible. And I think most people have that. We all just want things to go easy, but that can also have detrimental aspects. And it's something that I think will come a lot more naturally for us all as we continue having more health and stability. Then I think it becomes more natural to feel safe and secure in our body and have that presence of mind to be able to defend ourselves in the moment. Because looking back on the instance, I thought I should have made a joke or something, just pointing it out, not being aggressive, but just pointing it out, like being like, impulse control, do you have it? Something along those lines. And I feel like this is how I'm imagining it, that sometimes in the present, we have to conserve our energy, like law of assumption, Neville Goddard kind of stuff, like really conserve our energy to just focus on feeling good day to day, to protect our physiology, to protect our ability to feel emotionally invested and hopeful for our future plans, and just enjoying the day to day, playing, experimenting, enjoying. So we have to kind of conserve our energy, and then at the same time, the energy we use, or the energy that we're conserving, instead of just like being so upset when people do things, just like defending and maybe causing more chaos, we can instead, I can't think of the word right now, but like translocate, what is it? Whatever. We can allocate, is that the word I'm looking for? We can reallocate that energy that normally would just be like going at whatever is uncontrollable and annoying in our atmosphere. Instead, we can be like, oh, I'm gonna keep my extra energy. I'm gonna put it into something that is gonna actually benefit me to have stronger physiology, stronger endurance, less physical anxiety, because anxiety can come from just feeling not only insecure in our thoughts, but insecure in our health, like our physical health. So we can reallocate our energy towards, like for me, like I went to the gym after Amazon. I got back from Amazon at 9:30 p.m. I went straight to the gym. I met my boyfriend there. We went into the gym. I didn't do any cardio because I'd been doing cardio all day at work. Instead, I just did the weight machines for like half an hour or whatever. And, focusing, for me, this is kind of besides the point, but for me right now, I'm trying to focus on back and chest, because in order to not get chronic pain doing Amazon, apparently that is what I need to work on. That will like prevent, it'll allow me to use other muscles to like, to flex and do things, so that I'm not just like using my joints and just like gritting my neck in order to pick up heavy things and move things. So anyway, yeah, we went to the gym after I got done with Amazon, and then when I got back, like I went to sleep right away. Like for me, I've been realizing that sometimes like I don't feel sleepy how I used to. I remember like, I don't even know the last time, like I want to say like 2016, 2017 or something, around that time, I would get really sleepy when I was tired, like just like need to conk out. I don't really get that anymore. When I feel really tired, I more start to feel like sick, like disconnected from my body, and mind tends to be more worried. that for me is now the symptoms that I use to understand that I'm tired. So yeah. So all of this is just to say that I believe, and I want to encourage people around me, let's conserve our energy to go towards the things that matter to us personally, and not trying to control our environment as often. And I think there is definitely times and places to use our energy to control our environment and to influence people around us. And especially if you have maybe a unhelpful mental model of what situations come easily to you, to express yourself within, or where you tend to like just zip up. Like I know I'm someone who has tended to like just really zip up and under speak, just under communicate, and let people project things upon me. And then I end up getting into situations that are just, really uncomfortable. And then I just end up being like, oh, gotta get out of here. So, but just really investing our energies into our own plan, our own devotion to being like, that's my cuckoo clock. Like, we don't have to be so focused on the nitty-gritty details. It's okay to just be more relaxed, enjoy things more, and just remember a few applicable details instead of trying to make our whole life about this huge philosophy and putting a magnifying glass on everything, dissecting, analyzing. For me, I feel a lot more pain when I'm doing that all the time compared to when, and this is what I've been learning just in the past week, compared to when I am working more on enjoying things and doing what I have to do to accomplish my practical goals, and I feel encouraged and hopeful for the future, without making myself feel crazy or upset, or I don't have to suffer in order to continue on a good path. I don't have to be anguished in order to be proud of myself and know that I'm putting in hard work and good work. Like, sometimes the fact that I don't feel pain is the representation of how much work I've put in. That's true for all of us, right? Sometimes the lack of pain is the testimony to how much effort we've put in to refine our process and to be wise and not put ourselves under unnecessary stress, and to know that when we conserve energy, we can put it into the things that it's not painful, but it is more devoted in a new way that we're not used to. It's a learning curve. Like for me, continuing to go to the gym and just organizing my time differently and allowing myself to continue talking to people regularly, even though I get like, wanting to just like, just wanting to be like, nobody can see me. Wanting to kind of just like hide, and, learning that it's okay to be ourselves however we are in the moment, and always to stand by ourselves and listen to our emotions, listen to what we need, and continue to experiment with what we need and how to help ourselves meet our needs and identify those unidentified needs. So I wanted to pull a card. I've been doing this at work, like during work and before work. And it's been really helping me when I can start to freak out and be like, how am I going to make sure everything is okay? How am I going to feel in control and control everything that needs controlling when I have just so much on me that I can't put my energy towards it all the time? And So the tarot cards have been helping me to remember or feel like I have a clear frame of reference for how I can feel connected and encouraged still. Kind of like the shortcut ways, without having to dissect everything. And I really like that. I'm really liking this more like surface level, accessible kind of thing. It feels a lot less exhausting. So I wanted to say, I'm trying to think of a question that is maybe relatable for other people too, and not just something personal from my life. But let's see. Let's see. So what advice or perspective can we use to help us feel safe in the moment, whatever is going on externally? What's a perspective that we can use to confidently feel safe, to come back to that perspective of safety in the moment, no matter what is going on? I haven't been able to see these, but anyway, just go like cut it here. So Knight of Pentacles. I am still getting familiar with these, but how I would interpret this is that in order to feel safe, no matter what's happening, you have to remember that you're on a mission. Your mission is important, your personal mission, your authentic mission. And you have to remember that that staying in partnership with yourself, to be using your abilities, right? Pentacles to me means abilities, like your skills. So yeah, just using your skills to remind yourself you're on your mission. And I would say also maybe to trust that you are on your mission. Trust you have all your armor already. Trust you are already the knight. You already have your transportation. You already have your horse, your best buddy. You already have all your armor. You have your, I don't know, does he have a sword? It looks like he has a book. He has, you already are so well suited up, have so many skills, and just to trust that. And that you are on your mission. In order to feel safe, just remember, you have so many skills, you are so suited up and prepared already, and you are on this path of pursuing your authentic mission. So whatever imaginings or words allow you to feel those sentiments, whatever that feeling is like for you, of feeling safe, feeling prepared, feeling confident that you don't have to know all the tiny little nitty-gritty answers or to have the answer for everything in the world. You just need to have the answer for everything that is on your personal path, and you are on your path. You can sense your path, you're prepared for your path, and the leg of the path that you're on, as you continue on your path, you're gonna come across a lake, and you're gonna pick up some stones and pick up a turtle and you're gonna take a bath in the lake, and you're gonna have a cute little turtle friend who starts talking to you and gives you wise advice, and you're gonna pick up some stones that are magical and you can use to make extra spells and make yourself a feast whenever you want. So, you're perfectly prepared for what you need, for where you are on your journey right now in the present. So that is really encouraging for me. And that is all I wanted to share for today, share my thoughts. And I'm really grateful to, of course, have technology, have the internet, have this way to help me continue to process these changes and to take note of changes. And I hope be able to take other people on this journey of what the process of the changes looks like for me, kind of these smaller steps that happen and the things that I'm learning. And I hope that it can be insightful or valuable in some kind of way for you too. And, whether this is relevant to your personal journey or it is just, maybe not directly relevant, but still strengthening or useful to you in some way, that is entirely my intention. So, talk soon and take care. Bye.